Ukraine's general staff shows suicidal attempt of Russian troops to advance in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU, has shared a video of how the Russian occupiers carried out a suicidal attack on Ukrainian troops in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. The offensive by the enemy's 58th Army on the Zaporizhzhia front, long announced by Russian propagandists, only reduces the number of Russian personnel and equipment. Poor training and interaction between enemy units resembles suicide rather than offensive actions. The General Staff reports that 3 Russian tanks have been confirmed destroyed and about 30 soldiers have been either killed or wounded in this attack. Ukrainian armed forces units have repelled Russian attacks in the vicinity of Novoselivsky, Stelmakivka, Ploshchanka, Nevsky and Chervenopopivka in Luhansk Oblast. The Russians are wary of the advance of Ukraine's armed forces, so they have left only one pontoon crossing across the Siversky Donets River. Ukraine's rocket forces and artillery hit 9 command posts, 2 clusters of Russian personnel and 2 other important Russian targets. Luhansk Oblast Military Administration states that the Russians continue to suffer losses, with the hospitals in the oblast full of wounded fighters. In particular, about 50 seriously wounded invaders have recently been taken to the hospital in Starobilska, and more than 100 Russian military personnel have been taken to the hospital in Belovodsk. Ukraine vows to defend Bakhmut as Russia claims successes in combat. Russian and Ukrainian forces are locked in fierce fighting for Bakhmut, an embattled city in the eastern Donetsk region. The city has been under siege by Russian fighters for months and has inspired a national rallying cry for Ukrainians. Bakhmut holds. Russia's defense minister said Tuesday that military operations in the Bakhmut area are developing successfully, but Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has stressed that Ukrainian forces still hold the city and are countering Russian attempts to surround them. Ukrainian officials, meanwhile, continue to call for fighter jets and other advanced equipment from Western allies, describing the situation on the front lines as very precarious. The frontline city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine has been the focus of intense fighting for months. Battles became fiercer this week, but Ukraine's forces appear to be holding out against the Russians, who recently claimed to have seized the nearby salt mining town of Soledar, a victory Kyiv denies. If Russian forces or the Wagner mercenaries who are also fighting in eastern Ukraine, or indeed both manage to capture Bakhmut, its fall would mark Moscow's most significant victory after months of humiliating setbacks. The city, famed for its winemaking, is symbolically relevant for Ukrainians for whom "Hold Bakhmut" is now a popular slogan. The armed forces of Ukraine stepped up their strikes on Svatovo and Kremenaya. Despite the fact that the Russian military launched an intensive offensive in the Limansky direction, forcing the Ukrainian troops to retreat to a distance of about 10 kilometers in some sectors of the front, the armed forces of Ukraine began to more actively strike at the territory of the cities of Svatovo and Kremenaya, using not only cannon artillery, but also HIMARS systems. This is evidenced by the regular reports of the LPR representation in the JCCC. According to the data presented, only over the past weekend in N.P. Svatovo was struck at least 6 times with HIMARS systems, and the settlement was hit by HIMARS. Flint inflicted 4 hits of 155 mm. Western-style cannon artillery. Previously, the blows were delivered not so intensively. This indicates that the armed forces of Ukraine are trying to win back the lost positions, although it is more than likely that they will not be able to go on the counteroffensive. At the beginning of 2023, Ukraine announced the transfer of 441 tanks. 2023 could be a record year for the number of tanks transferred to Ukraine. To date, the delivery of the armed forces of Ukraine has been announced for at least 441 combat vehicles, and deliveries may increase even more. According to open sources, at the beginning of 2023, Ukraine announced the delivery of 441 tanks, 129 tanks of Soviet and Russian production, as well as 312 Western-made tanks.